There was something just so fitting about being able to see this on National Puppy Day. Hey everybody, welcome to Mainely Movies. Today I'm going to be talking about the 2023 action thriller sequel, John Wick Chapter 4. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for a variety of movie-related content like reviews, rank lists, and trailer reactions. All my reviews include a breakdown of the pros and cons, my rating, and some tailored film recommendations, so be sure to watch through to the end of this video for all of that extra content. John Wick Chapter 4 stars Keanu Reeves, Donnie Yen, and Bill Skarsgård, and was directed by Stahelski. It continues the story of assassin John Wick, played by Keanu Reeves, as he seeks revenge against the High Table. After nearly 3 years of delays and postponements, we finally have the long-awaited fourth chapter in the John Wick franchise. And let me tell you right off the bat, it was worth the wait. John Wick has had quite the journey, both as a character and as a franchise. What began as a small story of revenge has escalated to near mythical levels, far exceeding anything anybody could have predicted about this character or this franchise back in 2014. The world building has been massive, expanding on the underground assassin world with each new entry. The Continentals, the High Table, markers, adjudicators, all more and more involved with each passing film. Likewise, the action has grown exponentially too. It all threatens to be too much, to go too far, but somehow it continues to work. One of the common hallmarks of a modern action franchise are the constant attempts to one-up the previous film, to go bigger and bigger with each successive movie. It's certainly fun as a viewer, but at some point there's gotta be a maximum, an action ceiling that a franchise hits that they just can't top. Maybe future films could match it, but not surpass it. I thought we had reached that point in the John Wick franchise with Chapter 3, but I'm pleased to say I was wrong. Chapter 4 manages to go bigger in just about every way, without ever jumping the shark. It takes everything you've loved about Wick action in the past. Gun-fu, car chases, neon-soaked club fights, horses, dogs, and ramps them up even more. It's a greatest hit remix with a full double album's worth of great new songs thrown in for good measure. The action is going to be what most people talk about here, and for very good reason. It's some of the best, most satisfying action I've ever seen in a film. It's incredibly fun to watch as Wick and others creatively use a seemingly infinite array of weapons and fighting styles across a number of very different environments. Some of it's scrappy, with the fighters using whatever they can get their hands on, while some of it's a bit more structured and formal. But whatever form the action takes here, the choreography is phenomenally precise. Not just for the actors and stunt performers, but also of the camera moving through the scenes. The Wick films have always been stylish, with great lighting and dynamically shot fights full of plenty of long takes, but even that's taken to the next level here. The cinematography and framing is amazing. There are dozens of standout moments to highlight in this, but one extremely long take during a shotgun fight is gonna blow you away. Quite literally. It's amazing how endlessly fun and watchable Wick franchise action is. 4 movies in, and I would honestly be happy watching one giant 2-hour-long Wick fight. And it'd be tempting to say that that's exactly what we get here in Chapter 4. After all, there are many times in this film where one massive action set piece leads directly into another. And another, and another. There are huge chunks of this movie that are just continuous strings of action sequences, where we, and Wick, don't get a second to catch our breath before being hurled into the next sequence. But despite the immense amount of action, there is some downtime here. Decent chunks of this film are devoted to the ever-expanding world building. We learn more about the High Table and its customs, we get important background for a variety of new characters, plus we also get some emotional throwbacks. Chapter 4 is the longest film in the series so far, clocking in at 169 minutes, but it uses that runtime to great effect. As with all the other films in this franchise, the focus remains on John Wick, and Keanu Reeves plays him as stoically entertaining as ever. Everything about Chapter 4's plot ties back to him and his actions over the last 3 films, either directly or indirectly. We do get to see a few other familiar faces, most notably Winston, the manager of the New York Continental, but this is a film that's largely populated by new characters. And in many cases, by the end of this film, you'll feel like they've been part of the franchise since the beginning. We've got Koji and Akira, the skillful proprietors of the Osaka Continental. Shamier Anderson's tracker, aka Mr. Nobody, is another fun addition to the story, providing us with a bit of unknown tension, and this film's Belgian Malinois dog fix. And of course, Bill Skarsgård turns in one of the best villain performances of the franchise as Marquis, a powerful member of the High Table tasked with taking down John Wick, and more importantly, the idea of John Wick once and for all. He's a villain who prefers to let other people do most of his dirty work, but he's a compelling and easy-to-hate Wick adversary. But the best new addition to the cast of characters is easily Donnie Yen's Kane, a blind, semi-retired assassin hired by Marquis and the High Table to kill John Wick, who just happens to be an old friend of his. There's definitely some serious Zatoichi inspiration and vibes with this character of Kane, and he makes an exciting and fun addition to the extensive action here. I mean, we are talking about Donnie Yen after all. But even beyond his fighting prowess and humorous contributions, he's an extremely worthwhile character for the story, because of his many similarities to Wick. Kane's story runs parallel to Wick's. They both have similar motivations and contribute some much-needed emotion and humanity to a film so overrun by extreme violence. Kane's presence serves not only as a connection to the past, but also as a mirror of sorts for Wick. It's easy to think of Chapter 4 as just an action movie, and John Wick as just an action franchise. I mean, there is plenty of action here, and it is fantastic, but there are deeper layers too. The revenge, action, and bloodshed dealt by our hero and his allies has never been without reason. Violence may be in Wick's nature, but he's never been a man who's violent for violence's sake. The rules and code of the assassin world were what guided him, until he found something more important and tried to get out, only to have everything but his skills and memories taken from him. The emotional core found in the first film has never been quite as strong in any of the sequels, but Chapter 4 brings us as close as we've ever come. There are so many connections and tie-ins here, with many of the initial ideas and foundational qualities of Wick coming full circle. This is a movie whose action will be incredibly entertaining on rewatch, but it's also a movie where your appreciation for the non-action components will continue to grow the more you think about them, especially in the context of the franchise as a whole. Alright, let's talk about the pros and cons. Pro number 1 is definitely the action. Okay, no surprise there, I'm sure. This franchise has always been steeped in phenomenal creative action, and this fourth chapter manages to go even bigger with it. It incorporates many of the most pleasing action moments from the past 3 films, but adds to each of them, giving us something slightly different at every turn. The action here is remarkably extensive, with the film flowing seamlessly from one huge action set piece to the next without so much as a break, for Wick or for us. Gun-fu, cars, dogs, horses, shotguns, stairs, nunchucks. This movie's got it all and more. The second pro has gotta be the characters. We've always had some very entertaining and interesting characters in this franchise. John Wick himself is a given, obviously, as are the proprietors of the New York Continental. We've had other characters pop up who've been great, like Sophia in Chapter 3, but I don't think we've had this many good new additions in a single Wick sequel. The Osaka Continental manager and concierge, Mr. Nobody, our easy-to-hate villain, Marquis, and especially Wick's old friend and most evenly matched opponent yet, Kane. Pro number 3 can best be summed up as the visuals. The Wick films have always had a great visual aesthetic, but wow is this one impressive. We've got plenty of that neon-soaked style we've come to expect from the franchise, but there are moments in this movie that could legitimately be framed as art. A red neon-infused shot of Wick with cherry blossoms blowing in the wind comes to mind, along with a few dozen other shots. Beyond just the lighting, this movie features some of the best cinematography we've seen so far in the franchise, too, in both quiet scenes and action sequences alike. Some of those action set pieces, you'd be hard-pressed to find more creative and dynamically shot sequences. The long one-shot take during the shotgun sequence will rightfully garner much of the praise, but the stairs sequence, much of the car-based action, and nearly everything at the Osaka Continental looked fantastic as well. On the con side, my only issues are really just minor nitpicks. There were certain scenes that ran a little long or felt a bit superfluous, but for the most part, I thought this movie very effectively used its quite long runtime. There was one secondary antagonist who was right on the edge of being a goofy Bond villain and felt a little out of place in this Wick world, so I didn't really care for him all that much, but we did get some good action out of that sequence, and it did move the plot along, so it's not like it was a waste. My only other small issues are perhaps a little unfair, given how much we got in this movie, but I do wish we got a little bit more of Lance Reddick's concierge here. And I would have also loved to have seen Sophia from Chapter 3 return in some capacity, but I can understand from a story perspective why she doesn't. Before I give you my rating recommendations, I want to remind you that if you're interested in buying John Wick Chapter 4 or any of the other films I mentioned today, I do have affiliate links for all of them in the description below. I get a small commission from anything you buy using one of my links, so I'd really appreciate it if you use them if you're in the market for any of these movies. I'm gonna give John Wick Chapter 4 4.5 out of 5 paws. They do it again, somehow managing to up the action and world building over the already extremely heightened levels of Chapter 3. This chapter features some of the most impressive and extensive action sequences in the franchise, and also brings back some of the driving emotion of the first film, for both Wick and some excellent new characters. I would recommend John Wick Chapter 4 to anybody who likes action movies. Existing fans of the Wick franchise will obviously get the most out of the story and character moments, and will certainly have a slightly better understanding of the world building and various rules of this assassin Wick world, but anybody can appreciate the massive amount of phenomenal action on display here. If you liked John Wick Chapter 4, I would recommend John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Obviously, I'd suggest all of the Wick movies, but Chapter 3 is the closest to Chapter 4 in terms of world building, action, and of course, story. If you liked Donnie Yen's Kane, you might want to check out Zatoichi's Flashing Sword. There are a lot of Zatoichi films to choose from, and any of this classic Japanese series about a blind samurai would be fitting, but this 7th film in the series offers a blend of violence, humor, and heart that's also reflected in Chapter 4's Kane. And if you just want some more massive action, you should watch Mission Impossible Fallout. This 6th film in the Mission Impossible franchise offers up some more of the greatest action sequences in recent memory, while still delivering a strong and compelling story. Alright, a couple questions for you guys. Number 1, have you seen John Wick Chapter 4? If so, what'd you think of it? And number 2, what's your favorite dog moment in the John Wick franchise? Be sure to leave your answers in the comments below so we can get a discussion going. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment, insight, or information on this review, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe if you're at it to see more videos like this. Till next time, this has been Alyssa with Mainly Movies, the way life should be.